You and your wife signed the Giving Pledge last week. Also, obviously, co-founder of the Everglades Foundation, have done tremendous work in Florida, and founder of Robinhood, which has been fighting poverty in New York City in a tremendous way. So philanthropy-wise, you're already doing extremely well, to say the very least. Now, your next sort of target is corporate America, and you have Just Capital Research on the case for you, as well as an ETF, which we'll get to in a moment. But first of all, tell us why Just Capital is so important.
Well, Just Capital was actually founded about 5 years ago, and I think it's kind of recognizing two problems. And the first problem is that our capital markets are working for some folks, but there's a whole bunch of people that they're not working for, that are being left behind. And so that's the first problem. The second problem is that many of the people, shareholders and CEOs, don't recognize that the first problem is actually a problem. That our capitalists, the way our capital markets work right now, the way our companies work right now, has evolved to a point that's probably not sustainable over time.
Now, philanthropy is massive in the US, as we know, but business is actually 40 times philanthropy. So business could have an exponentially greater impact on this inequality that you talk about. But what about shareholders? Because, you know, you, along with everybody else, would say shareholders, you know, must also be treated fairly by business. Where is shareholder primacy?
Right. So I think that's really what Just Capital is all about, is that if you think about the evolution of capitalism, right? And next year is going to be an incredibly important milestone, because September 13th, 2020 will be the 50th anniversary of when Milton Friedman wrote a very famous editorial that went in the New York Times. And in that, he said, the purpose of business is to make a profit. And that unleashed and unchained CEOs, management, shareholders, et cetera, to go on one of the most incredible journeys that's ever been taken in any society, for that matter. So in 1970, about 6.5% of corporate profits went to shareholders. Fast forward to today, that number's 13%. So they've literally doubled their take of corporate revenue. And there wasn't a plebiscite, there wasn't an act of Congress, there was no malicious intent. It just happened organically as we actually took everything out of the equation of what a true purpose of a company is, other than to make a profit. And so what that did, the consequences of that, is we now have wealth inequality 5 times of what it was 50 years ago. We have the top 20 wealthiest Americans have as much net worth as the bottom 175 million Americans. And so we're probably at a point where we have enough fissures, enough problems, enough divisiveness in our society, that if we don't address this allocation of resources, so to speak, in some way, shape, or form, I don't think that we're on a sustainable path. I think 43% of people today would vote, there was a poll just out, would vote in favor of socialism over capitalism. I'm a capitalist, so I don't want to see that happen. So I think we've got to get a new direction for capitalism and redefine it.